So just recently, my vehicle was deemed a total loss by the insurance carrier. And this is how I was able to obtain almost another $2,000 with one conversation. If it helped me, it can help you. Let's get started. This is the damage. In my case, this is my wife's vehicle. She was driving home, and another vehicle driving perpendicular to her hit our vehicle right above the driver's side tire. And clearly, when I first saw the damage, I never thought it would be a total loss. This is the picture when it arrived at the body shop. Clearly, you could see fenders, a hood, bumper, maybe the driver's side door, maybe the impact beams, or more than likely the impact beams underneath the bodywork. But a total loss? No way. Never once did that ever cross my mind. Well, apparently there was a lot more damage and one of the frame rails were bent. So this is the estimate by the body shop, over $12,000. Now, we paid $15,500 for the vehicle. The insurance company doesn't know what we paid for the vehicle, but we paid $15,500, which is about right for a 2018 Crosstrek with 70,000 miles. Now, what happens with most states, once you hit a certain percentage of the value of the vehicle, they total out the car because it's state law. Every state is different, but being that we live in a very blue and consumer-driven state, once you hit, typically it's 80 or 85% maybe, they total out the car. So in this case, I got a phone call, hey, your car's totaled. Now, when the adjuster called, I was in my vehicle. I'm a little old school. I have to write everything down. I have to put everything on an Excel spreadsheet, so I understand precisely how they come up with this number. So the adjuster called me. I'm in my car. I'm not home. I don't have any paper, pens around me. And when he told me the price on what they're going to give us, I knew immediately that's too low. But I know some people go off the hook. Hey, you guys are crooks. You're ripping me off. I don't want to go down that route. You want to be kind. Hey, thank you for the information. Do me a favor. Can you email me the software that you're using that you came up with this price? And typically this, as far as I can tell, this is the number one software most insurance companies use, and that's CCC One. I believe it is an Experian company, which is one of the three credit bureaus. And this is where it becomes interesting. So you could clearly see, again, we paid $15,500, which for the most parts, these cars go for around $15,500, maybe $17,000 if it's really low miles. So comparable vehicle one, $15,900, okay, that's about in the ballpark. Comparable number two, $17,000, and then comparable three, $11,900. You cannot find a 2018 Subaru Crosstrek with 70,000 miles for $11,900. It doesn't exist unless maybe it's salvage title and multiple owners, many accidents. And this is the problem. In my case with this valuation, this is the first thing you could say. In my case, it took me months to find this black Subaru because I was looking for something, one or two owners, clean title, but most importantly is the maintenance history. Now, in this case, this car was maintained every 5,000 miles at the dealer. Oil change, tire rotation, it had the 60,000 mile service at the dealership, which means diff fluid, brake fluid, air, cabin filter, spark plugs. There's a number of things. And the tires were excellent. Tires are super expensive, really expensive. So ideally, you want to get a car that you don't have to buy brand new tires. So when you look at these comparables, and you can see, comparable number one, 2018 Subaru Crosstrek, and there's a VIN number. The problem is it's been sold. So if I want to look up the Carfax, when you buy a vehicle from a dealership, almost every dealer gives you a Carfax. You can download it right off their website. I can't see the Carfax on these vehicles because they have been sold. So how many owners have these vehicles had? How many accidents have they had? How many times has it been maintained? A lot of vehicles, you'd be shocked, have no maintenance history. And if they don't have maintenance history, then they sell for a lower price. I'm not willing to pay more for a vehicle that has no maintenance history. So that's the first thing. That's the first argument. I don't have any detailed history on these older vehicles versus my car, which is one owner, clean titled, and maintenance history. But this is really the number one thing that stood out to me. And if you look here, there's an adjustment of negative 1676 among all three vehicles. What is that for? And there's a footnote. The condition adjustment sets that comparable vehicle to private owner condition, which the lost vehicle is also compared to in the vehicle condition section. What the hell does that mean? What that means to me is the insurance carrier is subtracting 1676 if I find the vehicle by a private party. It is rare you will find, 8 years is still relatively new. To find an 8-year-old vehicle being sold by a private party is pretty rare. You do see them on, for example, Facebook Marketplace, but a lot of times those are wholesale dealers acting on their own. To find one by a private party that's just 8 years old is pretty rare. So this is precisely the email I sent to the adjuster that night, and this worked. And you can see the first paragraph that I talk about, but this is the main thing, the second paragraph. As indemnifying the insured. What does that mean? Every insurance company, their role is to indemnify the insured. The client is the insured. Indemnify means to make you whole. It's just a fancy word to make you whole. As indemnifying the insured is the primary responsibility of any insurance company. The amount of $15,000 does not make us whole. A quick search on TrueCar or Car Gurus indicates that similar vehicles start at 16 grand. Can we adjust this value to better reflect current market conditions? So I sent that off after 5 p.m. The next morning, 9 o'clock, I received a phone call. The guy was super nice, and he said, and he was perfectly blunt, because these adjusters are overworked. Right? I mean, the insurance company wants to make a profit. Instead of hiring more people, they're using software and hiring less people. And he was perfectly blunt. He simply said, hey, listen, the software gives us the numbers, but I don't have the time to double check everything and make sure that this number is right. And he said, once I received your email, I reviewed the attachment, and no problem, I'm going to add in 1676. Done. Now, I could go another step and say, okay, thank you. But also, by the way, these 3 vehicles, one of them being just $12,000, I don't know the history. I don't know the maintenance. I don't know the Carfax. I have nothing on them. Can we just give me, another couple $100? I didn't go that route because I was happy with the 1676. And to be quite honest, my time is more valuable than a couple other $100. And just getting with an argument, I need to get this done with so I could buy another car. So that was it. Done deal. And if you're curious what happens is, do you get paid electronically or by paper check? Every company is different. Years ago, my vehicle was hit while parked by a Geico driver, and Geico paid me electronically. In this case, I received a paper check. And what if you have a loan? The loan is the first line of defense because technically the bank owns the car. So if I had a loan on the vehicle, let's say for $13,000, 13 remove the 16 that we got, that goes to the bank. The leftover 3 I would get. That's the way that works. Hopefully you're not underwater. If you're underwater, then hopefully you have gap insurance, and that's what gap insurance essentially covers, to cover that gap that you're not getting enough money from the insurance company. So that's really the synopsis on what happened. I just want to share that with you. Super easy. It's funny because I did a quick search, web search on this phrase, and there were so many Reddit conversations. I'm just thinking, why not just take your time, write something out, talk to the insurance company. The web is great, but you sort of have to stand on your own 2 feet, and let's just see what we can get done here. And if it helped me, it can help you. Thanks for watching.